So Marcus Rashford has been in the news a lot recently, and not for good reasons. Obviously, he's been out of the matchday squad for Manchester United for a number of weeks now, basically not being good enough to play, not being up to the standard of being able to play for Man United. And that is very troubling given the fact that he is one of the highest earners at the club, and also the fact that really there's been a lot of injuries for Man United, so there is no reason why he shouldn't be starting. He should be good enough to start for that side, especially as they're struggling so much. But even though they're struggling so much, he's not good enough. He's not on the team sheet anywhere. So the question that I wanted to ask today, basically because Rashford is in a really awkward position right now. He's got a massive contract that's going to run for a number of years. He could just sit on that and earn £350,000 a week, £300,000 a week, however much it is. I see both of those figures sent out a lot, but at the end of the day, that is his basic wage, quote unquote. That's before any bonuses that he might get. Obviously, if he doesn't play, he won't get those bonuses, but in theory he could just sit out his contract and be effectively awarded for doing nothing, just coming in, training, and that's it. 350 grand a week, which is crazy. That's like what the average person earns in a single year, 10 times over every single week for this dude. It's incredible, really. But how do I see this kind of playing out? Well, I've already given my thoughts on that, but the bigger question is, for me, something that's been kind of floated, something I've heard some people talking about, is should footballers be paid for the performances rather than at just a basic wage? Well, there's a lot of problems with this. I understand the ethos of it, and there are some extreme cases, some edge cases as it were, such as Marcus Rashford, that do kind of make you think, well, maybe this should change. Maybe this isn't working. And I understand that. I get that. But at the end of the day, they sign a contract. This isn't the players' fault, by the way. This is the club's. The clubs offer these contracts. And they get themselves in these difficult positions like this. Because now, again, taking Rashford as an example, because I think he's a very prevalent one, a very current one, a very relevant one. Who's going to take Rashford for 3 a week? I mean, he might well leave to go to a Spurs and be on half of that. I don't even think they'd offer him half. I think they'd offer him like 50, 100k a week, which is still a lot of money, but it's like a third, a seventh of what he's on currently. So would he take it? Well, that's up to him. He doesn't have to. There's no grounds to sack the guy. He hasn't done anything particularly egregious. I mean, the worst thing I think he's done is go out for a meal with his family on his birthday recently was it Belfast, Dublin? It might have been Manchester, I can't remember, but he's not done anything particularly egregious, I don't think, anyway. So they don't got grounds to sack him. So again, he's just going to sit out his contract, and that'll have people thinking, well, he's not doing anything for the club. Why is he being paid that much? And again, the club has got itself in that position. But if you do the whole paid on performance thing, then what about injured players? Players that are always injured. Reece James would barely be earning anything. Luke Shaw would barely be earning anything. And again, some people might say, well, that's fair enough, they're not playing, but is it really their fault that they keep getting knee injuries? Is that bad professionalism? Is that poor sportsmanship that does that? Or is it just plain bad luck? Some players get more injured than others. It's just natural. And yeah, some are more professional than others. I mean, I don't doubt that the likes of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo have, they've avoided any kind of really serious injuries over their 20 plus year careers because they are consummate professionals, on top of being two of the most naturally gifted footballers ever to play the game. That, of course, plays a part, but would you really say that's fair on that side of things? So injuries is part of it. And the other part of it is that, players are partly paid on their performance as well. They have goal bonuses, appearance bonuses, matchday squad inclusions, assist bonuses. The contracts these days in football are a lot more than a basic wage. They have all kinds of performance clauses in there and all sorts of that. Like for a lot of clubs in the Premier League, they'll have a relegation clause where if the club goes down, then your wage will be cut by 30%, 40%. And honestly, I know it's people are probably gonna roll their eyes at this, but if you want to get a good idea of what football contracts are like, play Football Manager. That is actually pretty accurate in terms of the amount of performance bonuses, the clauses in there, wage rises, things like that. It's all in there. And anybody that's had a permanent job in terms of having a salary and a position, they'll have a little bit of things like that potentially there too. In their contract, it might say that they have a company phone, a company laptop, a company car. They get a yearly wage rise of this. They get a Christmas bonus of this. It is not dissimilar for footballers in that sense. It is a job. So part of the wage does come from bonuses. It does come from effectively their performances, because a lot of their bonuses are performance related. So for me, I understand the sentiments of it. I know why people are saying it. I know why some Man United fans are saying it, because they're very frustrated about the situation where you've got Rashford wage wise taking up the space of potentially 2-3 players that could come in and do a better job. I would certainly say do a better job right now, because at least they'd be playing. Rashford, for me, I believe honestly that he's done. I really do think he's done at Man United, and I've already done a video going over that. But it's, where do you offload him? Where does he go? Where can he go? It is such a difficult question to answer, and I don't feel sorry for him, because he's made the rod for his own back here. He absolutely has, but it's a sad situation, because as an England football fan, I honest to God think that Rashford, talent-wise, is up there with some of the best forwards that we've got. But at the end of the day, he's not performing. He's not doing enough. It's a bit of a wasted talent situation, unfortunately, right now. And this is a guy that isn't getting any younger either. You know, he's approaching 30. I think he's 27 now, something like that. He's not a young player anymore. So this should really be the time when he's at the peak of his powers. But he's just sitting in the reserves, just training. He's not even playing. So yeah, that's my kind of thoughts on it, guys. I understand the sentiment of making footballers' wages purely performance based, but at the end of the day, if clubs as well, if they put some sort of contract clause in there that says, well, if you don't play 15 games a season, your wage will be docked. And that is something that I believe, in theory, according to contract law, they could do that, but then it would never get through, because who would sign it? Players don't have to sign contracts. And then you also get into the realms of, FIFA Pro, the Professional Footballers Association. They'd get involved and say, nah, this is wrong, mate. No chance. You're not allowed to do that. So in reality, in theory, it could be done, but in reality, it would never work, and you would disadvantage your club for doing that. And that's the reality of the situation. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Should footballers pay all be 100% performance based, or should it be as it is now? Do the contracts work right now? Because a lot of people complain about footballers' contracts and saying they're not right. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and of course, like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell as well, and we'll see you very soon for some more football content right here on thefootballchronicle.com. Have a good one, guys, and a happy new year when it comes in.